There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hello and welcome to Cancelled, a podcast that we're choosing to describe as award-winning because we did win bronze at the Australian Podcast Awards. Jessie, how are you feeling about the loss?
We were robbed. We got third place, bronze. How many nominees were there? There were 6. But we did make the top 10 of the listener's choice.
Yeah, which was genuinely a huge achievement for a podcast that has been out for like a year and a bit.
Yeah. We were actually pretty stoked. We found it really funny because cancelled listeners are just a very specific breed of person. Mm-hmm. As we learn every time we meet them, we go, we are friends because we have the same sense of humour.
It's very deep.
There was the woman when we got there who yelled out, "I'm a lazy girl." And that was in reference to Mariah, and we loved her and we said, yes, you're one of us.
I'm a lazy girl. And I said, you know what? I'm a lazy girl.
We're lazy girls.
I love a lazy girl.
Speaking of lazy girls, I was feeling a bit tired this afternoon.
Okay.
And I went, you know how there's the rumour that an apple will give you as much of a pick-me-up as a cup of coffee? Have you heard that?
I've not heard that.
Yeah,
Sounds like
they
bullshit.
say it's got as much like energy-producing shit as a bullshit.
Jessie, we don't do this for the accolades. Mostly
Not
because
anymore.
there aren't any accolades.
Not anymore.
We do it for the lols.
Yeah, okay.
Cancelled is a podcast that looks at celebrity crimes and assigns charges and sentences to them for justice purposes. I'm Claire Stevens and I'm joined by
Jessie Stevens.
And on today's show, we're talking about Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm the king of the world!
And the Oscar goes to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Who's your dream co-star?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And also, I have a crush on Leonardo DiCaprio.
Am I a nice boy? I suppose that's subject to interpretation.
Leonardo Wilhelm.
That's hot.
His family's German.
That's hot, actually.
Yeah.
Wilhelm. I don't mind that as a little boy's name.
Yeah. Continue. Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio. I wonder if it's pronounced William, but anyway.
No, it's not. Continue.
Is an actor and film producer. He's 48 and he's among the world's highest paid actors.
It's because he's among the world's best actors in the history of time.
He is. He's won 3 Golden Globes, a British Film Academy Award, and 1 Academy Award. Fun fact, Jessie, what was that for?
I actually think it was for The Revenant.
It was, correct.
Yeah,
correct.
What should he have won it for? Great question. Titanic.
Shutter Island. Inception. The Great Gatsby.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Catch Me If You Can.
Yes, and you know what Leonardo reminds us?
What?
It's not about the awards.
Oh, he does.
He does. It's a good week to be doing him because he's only won 1 Academy Award and he's the best in the world, similar to Cancelled.
Which has won no award and is the greatest podcast of all time. Yes. I have come pretty close to seeing every single film Leonardo DiCaprio has ever been in. I grew up obsessed with Leo, as did you, Jessie. We had posters of him on our walls.
It's the love of my life. Oh, I'm going to get teary.
He will always be the love of my life.
That has never wavered.
Yeah.
I love him so fully. Why do you love him, Jessie? Good question. His acting ability. His face.
Yes.
I guess his body.
Yeah. His commitment to the climate.
Yes. He makes impeccable choices.
Creative artistic
his career,
choices.
His evolution as an artist.
He's never done a dud. Well, he has done a dud. We'll talk about it later. But not a dud that I've seen.
I didn't love the aviation one.
Oh, okay. The Aviator.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. But not a dud in the sense that many other actors do. I think I sent him something in the mail once.
Oh, shit.
As a child, I don't know where it went, but I think I looked.
Was it a poem?
Probably, just to tell him how much I loved him.
Okay.
Jessie, what's your favourite Leonardo DiCaprio film/moment?
I think one of the greatest films ever made is Shutter Island.
Give you a briefing about the institution
All I know is it's a mental hospital.
for the criminally insane.
Gentlemen, welcome to Shutter Island.
That end bit where I don't know if he knows he's crazy. I've just
Profound.
read Reddit forums.
Yeah.
You know, so many Reddit forums about it.
Oh, he's just brilliant.
How are we going to cancel him?
I don't know. But Leonardo was 14 when he started appearing in commercials. He was about 5 when he started doing a few things on TV.
He was named after Leonardo da Vinci.
He was. But when he found an agent, they asked him to change his name to Lenny Williams to better appeal to Americans.
No, they didn't.
They did.
Lenny
Williams.
Name a single famous Lenny. Leonardo DiCaprio is a name born for fame.
Like, you know what isn't a famous name? We've said this before. Claire Stevens.
Yeah.
Never going to be famous.
Yeah.
You put it on a book, ooh.
No, it's not the right length.
No, it's not. So his big break was in this boy's life when he was 15, and he was plucked out of 400 actors by Robert De Niro to co-star alongside him.
Imagine discovering Leonardo DiCaprio.
Going, well, that one's got a face.
Yeah,
look at that face.
Yeah.
Apparently, he didn't know how to behave on set, and the director had to use a strict mentoring style.
Well, he was only a teen.
He was only a child. He went on to have major roles in The Basketball Diaries, Romeo and Juliet, and in 1997, the masterpiece that is Titanic. I just want to continue listing Leo's movies for a moment because they're so good. The Man in the Iron Mask. Jesse, The Beach got him nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor. Really?
Oh, I hope that didn't upset him because that was a really, really good film.
Yeah.
I went there to the island that's set because we were so obsessed with that movie.
I think everyone did. It ruined it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch Me If You Can.
No, like, as in it truly ruined the island.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like physically.
No,
as in the irony is as a conservationist and that island got pillaged
because
by
people
tourists.
Loved him so much. Gangs of New York, The Aviator, The Departed, Blood Diamond, Revolutionary Road, Shutter Island, Inception, J. Edgar, Django Unchained, The Great Gatsby, The Wolf of Wall Street, The Revenant, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Don't Look Up. What a resume. The man can do no wrong professionally, and I shan't hear otherwise. I shan't. But Jesse, my structure for today is as follows. Firstly, not dating anyone over the age of 25. Bad behaviour on set.
Won't be hearing anything about that. But
Not being kind to women.
Oh, that sounds like a lie. Because Kate Winslet likes him.
She does, best friends. Environmental hypocrisy.
Oh.
Random stories / rumours. That was kind of miscellaneous. You know how I get towards the end of prepping. Jesse?
Stop points.
Not dating anyone over the age of 25.
This doesn't bother me.
When you Google Leonardo DiCaprio ex-girlfriends, this is what comes up. Jesse, what do you notice?
All right, so I've got 6 images of women with the same face. They have the same face, the same haircut, the same colour hair, the same bone structure, the same teeth. They could all be each other. The only one is Giselle Bundchen, who is a little bit more famous than, say, Bar Raffaelli, whoever that is.
Oh, are you kidding? She's a model too.
Oh, I've never heard of her.
Earlier this year, Leonardo DiCaprio made headlines because he broke up with his girlfriend of 4 years, Camilla Morrone.
We don't know if he broke up with her or if Camilla was done.
Well, they broke up. Literally just after she turned 25.
Bitch got old.
Bitch got old. And everyone was reminded, that's right, he discards women once they get gross at 25. Jesse, Leo was 47 when he and Camilla broke up, and many sections of the media reported that he had actually never dated a woman over the age of 25.
That we know of.
A Reddit user generously detailed this chart outlining DiCaprio's dating history. Now, Jesse, you've got it in your notes. Have a look.
Okay.
This is one of the greatest charts known to mankind. And what this
I'm not good at reading charts. So what I see is that after the age of 25, Leo continues to get older, right? As indicated.
Weirdly, his age keeps increasing by approximately 1 year per year.
It is. So after 24, you've got 25, and then 5 years later is 30, and so on, which is really interesting. Leo is now 2 years away from turning 50, it says. An easier way to put that would be that Leo is now 48, but that's okay. This is a complicated graph. And what we see is we've got Giselle, Bar whoever, Blake Lively, I forgot he dated her. Who else is famous here? I don't really know the others. But the oldest of all these women in the last essentially 25 years of his life, the eldest is 25. There does appear to be a cap, and it has been described as Leo's law.
Yeah, exactly. This also points out that Leo turned 25 in 1999, and his most recent ex, Camilla, she turned 2 that year. She was born in 1997, the year Titanic came out. The chart also importantly references the brilliant Ricky Gervais joke at the 2020 Golden Globes.
that was funny, yeah.
It said,
Once upon a time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long, Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So,
excellent joke. So, Jess, the internet, it had a field day when him and this Camilla broke up. I'm going to get you to just read out a few of the viral tweets.
Okay, well, Megan has some thoughts. Megan says, I need to know how Leonardo DiCaprio conducts these breakups. Does he start picking fights months before they turn 25 to be less conspicuous? Do they wake up on their birthday to a note that says, sorry, I can't, don't hate me? That's a Sex and the City reference.
Mm-hmm.
Someone please investigate.
Yeah.
Well, we're here, Megan. Then we've got Sarah who says, maybe Leonardo DiCaprio hated 9/11 so much that he can't even date women who remember it. Did that even occur to you?
That's really
so
true. That was in 2001. And so he needs people who
were born
toddlers then.
That's so true because it's triggering. Then there's Leonardo DiCaprio once his girlfriend's brain finishes development and there's a GIF.
And it's a GIF of Miley Cyrus just walking outside a door, closing it and just staring inside. It's her exiting, basically.
Okay, got it. There's one that says, today is Netflix's 25th birthday. We want to thank the people who got us here, the fans. And someone has retweeted it saying Leonardo DiCaprio just cancelled his subscription.
Yes.
It's turned 25.
Yes.
Then we've got Liam, who says, rom-com about a woman who meets and falls in love with Leonardo DiCaprio on the eve of her 25th birthday and has to engage in a series of increasingly wacky escapades to keep him from learning her age.
I'd so watch
plot.
that. You should write that, Liam.
He's got a thing about that age.
Yeah.
It's
doesn't
dramatic.
like it. Too old.
Yes.
Now it appears Leonardo DiCaprio is dating a certain Gigi.
Gigi Hadid. We've cancelled her mother right here.
Yeah. Who is 27. She's 27 years old.
She's over the hill.
And so she is the oldest woman Leonardo DiCaprio has ever dated. They keep being photographed together and spotted in restaurants, but they're keeping it very quiet. They'll be leaving the restaurant
he's ashamed.
at different times and he has his entire face covered and she's covering herself. And it's probably because Leo is like, don't, she's so old. I don't want to be seen with her. Ew.
I don't want to be seen. Geriatric.
Yuck. Do I have to date the old ladies? That's what he's saying.
Oh my God. You go straight from Leo to a nursing home. I'm quite defensive of this because, as I stated, Leonardo DiCaprio can do no wrong. He's just a man doing his best, navigating this crazy world. He keeps finding 25-year-olds. Could it be a coincidence? Is the man just finding who he likes? They all happen to be 25. I don't like it when we lump the Leos of the world in with Me Too men as though this is some sort of crime. It is not a crime to discriminate against people over the age of 25. It is a crime. It's called ageism, but not a crime in terms of sex.
Is it a crime in the council courtroom?
Well, that's the question. No, I don't think so. I think that it's actually fine.
Wow, controversial. I've got a theory about the 25 thing that I'll get to.
Okay.
Jessie, moving on to bad behaviour on set. Apparently, Leonardo DiCaprio is one of those psychopaths who pranks people on set.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unforgivable. You know how I feel about pranks.
According to James Cameron, DiCaprio would fart into his jacket and place it over Kate Winslet's head. Luckily, Winslet loved his pranks and would crack up at them. Because you know they had to wear the big jacket.
Claire, this is why he can't get a girlfriend over 25.
No, this was going to be my theory.
No, it has nothing to do with his preference for 25-year-olds. No. It has to do with women's preferences for men who don't fart in jackets and put them over their faces. A woman who passes her 25th birthday goes, no, I will not be engulfed by fart.
No, because you had a great point before, and that was we don't know if he's breaking up with them or they're breaking up with him. And I think that it's when their prefrontal cortex develops, they go, fart pranks, not that funny.
All pranks. Find me a 26-year-old woman who thinks a prank is funny. Well, a 24-year-old?
Hilarious.
Maybe.
Hilarious. In 2016, Jonah Hill was standing on the street in Manhattan. And by coincidence, Leonardo DiCaprio was on the same street. And there was paparazzi.
This is what I expected in New York, and I never walked past Jonah Hill and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, I've seen a couple of celebrities in New York.
Who?
A guy who was in Girls.
No, it's just not good enough.
Okay, and a woman from Orange is the New Black.
No. Anyway. You can't even name them.
One of my friends lives in New York, saw M. Ratajkowski sitting on a bench.
Massive.
Huge. Life-changing. So, Leo and Jonah are on the same street. There's paparazzi recording both of them. There's paparazzi He's like, whoa, this is a field day.
This is not the day I was expecting.
So Jonah Hill is standing outside this restaurant. He's just kind of like leaning against it on his phone. And Leonardo DiCaprio is riding his bike. He spots Jonah Hill, pulls up, walks up the street. And as soon as he gets close to Jonah Hill, he starts really aggressively running towards him and pretending to take photos on his phone like he's a paparazzi. And Jonah Hill almost had a heart attack, like got terrified. And the paparazzi have recorded whole thing being
It actually sounds quite funny.
Being like Leonardo DiCaprio is a weirdo pulling a prank on his friend. Then he gives him a big hug. It's actually quite cute. Jonah Hill was interviewed about it and he said it was hysterical. He said, I literally wasn't planning on meeting up with anybody. I just left work and was going to get a coffee and was just like probably on Instagram. But he ran up on me, scared the shit out of me, and it was very funny. My heart literally stopped because it was really aggressive.
That's funny.
Apparently, Leonardo DiCaprio also pranked Claire Danes during Romeo and Juliet, and she found him immature.
How old was Claire Danes during Romeo and Juliet?
20.
She was
something.
No, well, this really matters.
No, actually, she could have been like 19. She was young.
She was young, but she was an old 19.
Fun fact, did you know in Romeo and Juliet they were going to cast Natalie Portman, but she was 13 years old? And Leo was 21. They thought the age gap was too much. Well, now Natalie's too old for him. But anyway, he found Claire Danes uptight because she didn't think his pranks were funny. And she was like, I don't think farts are funny while I'm filming Shakespeare.
This is why. Because everyone over the age of 25 is, according to Leonardo DiCaprio, uptight.
So I did have in my notes, maybe this is why he dates children, so he can do his pranks. Okay, because they'll laugh.
That's
Even
fine.
watching them, I go, no, that's
that
horrible.
Poor person
that,
got a fright.
And that person's going to have a heart attack, and then how are you going to explain it? Or they're going to wet themselves.
Do you think he constantly pranks?
Yes, absolutely. Like he's bored.
He's like Jackass.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
Like they get up, they walk through the hallway, there's like a big fist that's like punches them in the face, then the wall falls through, then there's a snake in the microwave, and it's like, I'm exhausted. See, a woman with a full-time job and a lot to do wouldn't have
Don't have time. Jesse, then there's his behaviour while auditioning for Titanic. Leonardo DiCaprio comes in for a meeting with James Cameron about the role of Jack. Cameron says he was in the conference room waiting to meet Leo, and suddenly he noticed that all the women in the entire office were in the meeting because they were like, oh, we also need to meet this guy.
Yeah.
And can I just say that women always know where it's at before it's there? Because Leo wasn't Leo at that point, but the women had seen
I could smell it.
the Basketball Diaries, and they went, that man is a sexy, sexy man.
We had an incident like this happen at Mamamia.
The
when
man
we
from
first
Outlander.
started, we were in a meeting.
Sam Hyun. He walked in and we were in a glass room and the whole meeting stopped and we just stared at him and he was a beautiful man.
It was one of the most predatory and inappropriate things we've ever seen because grown women began to huff. And there was sweating, there was groaning, there was moaning.
Yeah.
It was like there was a giant erection.
Yeah.
And that poor man was just trying to do his
Poor man
job.
was like, anyway, so all the ladies are in the room. James Cameron's like, yes, this guy's got a vibe. Then Leo has to come back a few days later because he's actually doing a screen test with Kate Winslet, who had already been cast. When Leo arrived, he thought it was just an opportunity to meet Kate Winslet. He didn't realize he was running lines.
Leo came in, of course, charmed everybody, myself included. And I said, all right, well, let's see what your chemistry is like with Kate.
And so he said to James Cameron, you mean I'm reading? And James Cameron was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I don't read. Basically, he's like, I get offered the role. I don't need to do a screen test.
He's Leonardo DiCaprio. Have some respect.
And then James Cameron was like, okay, thanks for coming by.
Wait, you mean if I don't read, I don't get the part just like that? And I said, oh, yeah, come on. This is like a giant movie. It's going to take 2 years of my life, and you'll be gone doing 5 other things while I'm doing post-production and all the model work and everything. So you're going to read or you're not going to get the part.
Then Leonardo is like, fine.
Do we think that's the best cast movie of all time?
Easily. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, obviously. Anyway, so Leo walks into the room with Kate Winslet, and apparently his energy is awful. has really negative energy and everyone's like, this is going to be terrible, this is not our guy. Then James Cameron says action.
And then he turned into Jack. And Kate just lit up and they went into this whole thing and he played the scene. Dark clouds had opened up and a ray of sun came down and lit up Jack. I'm like, all right, he's the guy.
Oh. So the vibe is he can be a bit of a dick, but he's very good at acting.
I forgive him.
My note there is, sir, please, you do have to audition.
You have to audition only then. I don't think he has to audition anymore.
No. I think probably they just give him the role.
Yeah.
Jessie, not being kind to women. Let's talk about the headphone sex rumour. Because in 2016...
Is that an established rumour?
Well, in 2016, Jezebel summarised the rumour as follows. And it had been around a lot.
Yeah, no, we heard it third, fourth hand from a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
And we thought, I mean, we know what hearsay is. This isn't hearsay. This is primary evidence.
It is. The item, titled Leo, Hollywood's Laziest Lover, tells the story of one of Leo's recent conquests.
I won't hear it.
Being invited to his home for a romp, as recounted by a friend she tattled to. The friend claims that while Leo and the woman were engaging in sexual intercourse, Leo reached for his vape and a pair of noise-cancelling headphones.
So we're not kissing and we're not listening?
No. Laid back and closed his eyes and signalled for her to keep going. This was the same unverified story that this publication had heard many months ago, but with additional details like simultaneous vaping and the fact that the headphones were noise cancelling.
What does simultaneous...
It meant that they'd heard the headphone bit before, they hadn't heard the vape bit.
Oh, I thought it meant that he was vaping with two.
It meant he was vaping.
Like I was seeing him with noise-cancelling headphones and maybe AirPods and two vapes coming out of corners of his mouth and just going, and I was like, that is weird.
Well, one's also very strange.
Weird, yeah.
Jessie, as you said, we have also heard this story.
Yeah.
From a friend who heard it from a reliable friend. That's
Was it a reliable friend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She lived overseas with this woman. This woman, I think it was through like a dating app, and she went to a hotel and she went up and she slept with him and he put headphones on. Allegedly. That's the story.
It's the specificity.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to make up a celebrity rumour, which I plan to do, it's about the specificity. You've got to find something really unusual that it's like, why would you lie about that?
What do you think the headphones symbolise? Like, are they noise cancelling or is he listening to something? Maybe he's listening to, like, whale noises.
Dory. What are you doing? What are you doing? Dory. Dory, this is not whale.
Yeah. Or cancelled. Listening to a podcast. Or maybe he gets sensory overload. And it's a lot of like touching, sounds, feelings, smells. And he's like, too much. And so he puts on his headphones.
That's actually quite sweet.
Yeah. Maybe it's a prank.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all part of an elaborate prank.
It's hilarious if so. So the headphones maybe not that kind to women.
Like, yeah, it's not ideal. But maybe he just doesn't want to chat.
I guess that's fine.
Okay. You go upstairs to have sex with Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what you're in for.
There's no questions in the lead up to that. It's just a given that, of course, I would go upstairs and end up in the room with Leonardo DiCaprio.
And then he puts on his noise-cancelling headphones and he's got two vapes out of either side of his face. Do you continue having sex with him in a heartbeat?
Oh, interesting. I don't know because I think I'd say, I wanted to ask you questions while we were doing it.
Well, maybe afterwards.
Can I ask you questions later?
What would you ask him?
What's your favourite movie that you've ever done, for example? Do you think I'm pretty? Things of that nature.
Okay.
Jessie, in terms of not being kind to women, there is also a movie that Leo doesn't want you to see. In the mid-90s, Leo made a movie called Don's Plum with Tobey Maguire and Kevin Connolly, who you'd probably know from Entourage. He's like the turtle guy in Entourage.
Yeah. I've never heard of this movie.
It's a black and white film that's largely improvised. And it's filmed in a dive bar where these young guys are just talking about women and sex and being disgusting. It was filmed and then DiCaprio and Maguire have been trying to shut it down ever since because they think it's detrimental to their careers because of how bad what they say is. It's just
and
disgusting.
It's improvised. I mean, I hate everything about it.
Yeah. It's improvised.
And I guess it's not detrimental to Turtle's career because Turtle's Turtle.
He's like, whatever.
Yeah. Like I didn't go to any great places.
But
I'm
he's
just
like,
a pig on Entourage.
Can we release it? Because then I'd be a co-star with Leo and Toby. But Leonardo DiCaprio insists that he filmed it in one night. And he was just like, yeah, I was just being a pig as like a project with my friends.
Yes.
In 1998, there was a court case and it was only allowed to be released outside the US and Canada. I don't know if I should say this, but if you want to see it, you can actually just email the director and he'll send it to you. Yeah, he has a website. But
Did you email the director?
No, I visited his website though. He's kind of crazy. I'll get to it. Those who have seen it say DiCaprio's character is the most misogynistic, homophobic, vulgar character, and it's quite disarming. Obviously, the question then becomes, how much of this was a character and how much is really him? These are the most disturbing parts of it. He calls a woman the C word.
Yeah.
He asks, do you girls masturbate at all? And they like talk about masturbation and says, I'll effing throw a bottle at your face, you goddamn whore, to one of the female characters. He then does throw a glass in a cringe-inducing scene meant to scare the actress away. Maguire talks about his weird masturbation habits and they're generally just gross, and Leo makes a reference to like, do you guys use soap when you shower? And it's like, do you not? Because that's not.
That might explain the sensory overload when having sex.
Yeah.
You got to wash our penis.
We got to wash our dick. So they make this movie. Then the director decides to cut it into a feature film. Leo says that was not the deal. This was not going to be a feature film. At that point, Leo and Toby decide this cannot come out. Our careers are on an upward trajectory.
Yeah.
This is not
I'm
our
doing
greatest.
Titanic with James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not.
We can't be doing this.
Turtle's like, please release
Please,
it.
though, I've got no other words. It was this huge fight.
Leonardo doesn't need this in his IMDb.
He doesn't. He's got enough. He's got enough. So this director still runs a website. It's called freedonsplum.com.
No one wants to see
and
Don's
it's a
Plum.
bit like,
Do you want to see it? I don't want to see it.
Make another movie. It's been
make another movie. But he's never going to be able to make another movie with Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio and Turtle.
Not now, because he's pissed them off. He's really upset them because he's kept going
not good
on
at
and
working
on.
relationships.
And they've said, no, it's not going to happen, mate. We got more power than you.
Yeah.
We're incredibly famous. And this guy's like, please, it's all I have is this movie. Is it good? No. Are you guys fucked in it? Yeah. Please. He like tries to maintain it's a work of art. But I personally think it's a good sign that Leo knows the film is terrible and problematic. Do you know what I mean?
And it sounds like he was kind of manipulated. Like he was clearly playing a character. He didn't think it was going to be a feature film. If it was improvising, like I can't hold that against him.
No, he is an actor. And we've said on this show before, often we get confused. Somebody plays a role and we say that's them.
Yeah.
We've definitely done that
The
with
chick
Leo.
from Grey's Anatomy, she's not a doctor.
Allegedly,
not a doctor.
But Leo he was playing characters, great actor.
Great.
He was playing a horrible person in this particular short film. But there was also an article published in New York Magazine about the Pussy Posse. And that is the group that he used to hang out with that included him, Maguire, and Connolly, and a bunch of other young men. Remember
I need to get a vision on Kevin Connolly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get
you'll
him
know
up.
as soon as you see it.
He's not the real short little.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like him. No, I never really liked him. Okay. Yep.
So this Pussy Posse that used to hang out in New York, it also included magician David Blaine and a whole lot of other young guys who would get into fights and spend their time hitting on women.
I'm finding pictures and I've got like a young Kevin Connolly and Leo. I've got a picture of them with MJ. I've got a picture of them with a young Hilton. Okay, this is very interesting.
It's like a whole group of people, and the really sad thing is like Leo was kind of their king. Like they all kind of looked up to him and protected him because he was famous and the rest of them were not as famous.
Not as famous. He's been very close with Spider-Man for a long time. Yeah.
A woman named Nancy Jo Sales wrote this profile for New York Magazine called Leo, Prince of the City, where she essentially just tried to find Leo at all the cool places in New York. But as she's working on it, she gets a phone call. This is what she writes. One night when I got home after looking for Leo, there was a message on my answering machine. A group of young guys, they all sounded drunk, were laughing and cutting up in the background. It was kind of strange. The speaker was telling me that if I wanted an interview with him, I'd have to make a deal along the lines of doing something for him that Monica did for Bill. Then maybe we'll talk, he laughed. I'd been trying to get in touch with Leo, but I thought, it couldn't be Leo. Jessie, I'm pretty sure it was Leo.
Why do you think it was Leo?
Yeah, by the end, you definitely get the idea that it was Leo. He just had this little posse of boys.
Was she under 25?
You
know what it was? It was a prank.
A prank.
He was just being a silly boy.
Prank call, prank call, prank call.
Prank call, prank call. I crossed the line.
Prank call, prank call. Sexual misconduct.
Yeah, journalists.
Yeah, we don't speak to women like that when they're doing their job, sweetie.
This is hearsay.
Well, here are some rumours about the Pussy Posse. DiCaprio bet Tobey Maguire that he could sleep with 6 Victoria's Secret models during the Cannes Film Festival.
Is this confirmed? Like this just random rumour you found on the internet?
They were really naughty, Jessie. This group of boys were very, very naughty.
Oh, if I was Leonardo DiCaprio, I would be making the same sort of bet.
Well, anyway, apparently he was very efficient and he invited the women to join him in threesomes in order to achieve his goal more quickly. In 1998, Leo greeted the paparazzi waiting outside his hotel by hitting them with grapes.
Oh, no, I like that.
In another incident...
That's exactly like what happened to you.
Oh,
we were at... Claire and I were in San Francisco, yes. Did we book the wrong accommodation? Yes, we went to a place, had bulletproof glass. It was there were rats, there was
very
syringes,
dangerous.
and we're in the wrong place. So we walked downstairs with our bags and we went... No point frowning. Let's go and find a better accommodation. And there was a homeless man and he threw a whole bag of oranges at you. Yeah. Only you. We were together. But he was targeting you in the head and he was going orange, bang, orange, bang. And I laughed.
Could have been Leo. I was a bit scared. Maybe it was Leo. That's very funny.
Classic prank.
Because oranges are actually a lot firmer than you think.
Yeah.
When thrown with force.
A grape, catch it with your mouth.
In another incident, Leo was reportedly spotted throwing garbage off the Brooklyn Promenade onto cars before speeding away in a chauffeur-driven Mercedes.
This is classic. You're frozen at the age you became famous.
Yes.
If he became
he's a naughty boy.
At 12 or 14 or whatever, he's stuck. He's stuck in year 7 and he's like...
You know what's funny? But you know what's funny? Grapes. Whoa. Whoa. This posse would go to a popular New York City night spot called Sky Bar and unleash stink bombs in the midst of the crowd.
This is what boys used to do at the Year 6 disco. They would put a little bit of gel in their hair. They'd put on their Hawaiian shirt. They'd get to the dance. They'd do a boogie to that song that was like, got Monica in my... You know that song? A little bit of Jessica. They liked that song. And then they would throw a stink bomb where all the girls were, run away and get a Mars bar from the candy machine. That's what they do.
DiCaprio's friends apparently relished fights. And as one member of the paparazzi remembered, they get off on protecting Leo and they were always ready to start yelling and swinging. Again, it seems sad that he was the ringleader. Anyway,
bit yuck.
One bartender from a New York City hotspot in the 90s said that DiCaprio never tipped. And this is a bit of a thing. He says, I'm cheap. Like he won't...
I don't begrudge a cheap man.
Well, when we're not tipping hospitality workers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm spending literally every cent I have on saving the planet.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm doing. I don't need to give you my money.
Well, that's a great segue, Jessie, because moving on to environmental hypocrisy.
Oh, I hear it.
Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the most well-known climate activists.
And he's been doing it before it was cool.
He has.
He's been saving monkeys, saving elephants.
Whales.
Yeah.
When he finally...
not that it's immature, but just in line with being a boy in year 4. It's a bit boy in year 4 doing an assignment on sea life.
Yes.
And being like, I'm going to choose my favourite animal and then I'm going to save them, which I think more of us should be like.
Yes.
But he definitely is making a lot of dioramas of the Great Barrier Reef and stuff.
Yes. When he finally won an Oscar in 2016, his speech was about climate change. He said,
Making The Revenant was about man's relationship to the natural world, a world that we collectively felt in 2015 as the hottest year in recorded history. Our production needed to move to the southern tip of this planet just to be able to find snow. Climate change is real. It is happening right now. It is the most urgent threat facing our entire species, and we need to work collectively together and stop procrastinating. We need to support leaders around the world who do not speak for the big polluters or the big corporations, but who speak for all of humanity, for the indigenous people of the world, for the billions and billions of underprivileged people who will be most affected by this, for our children's children, and for those people out there whose voices have been drowned out by the politics of greed.
It was beautiful. It's all he's ever posted basically on social media.
Yeah. So basically he said, let us not take this planet for granted. I do not take tonight for granted. He really gets ya.
Yes.
In 2014, he was designated as the United Nations Messenger of Peace for Climate Change, and he also sits on the board of several environmental organisations, including WWF, the Natural Resources Defence Council, International Fund for Animal Welfare, Pristine Seas, and Oceans 5. In the late 90s, he founded the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, which awarded grants to a fund that backed efforts to hold oil companies liable for climate change.
Before his time.
But earlier this year, Leo was called out for being an eco-hypocrite. He was photographed on holiday with friends and his girlfriend at the time, Camilla Morone, before she got old, on a super yacht in the Caribbean. To that, I thought, okay, what is a yacht anyway? Isn't it like a sailboat? I don't know. Doesn't it go with the wind?
It just floats on the water. Surely that is fine.
That's not how it works. Bava 2, which stretches 315 feet, is the largest yacht manufactured in Britain and is estimated to produce 238 kilograms of carbon dioxide per mile.
He's no Greta Thunberg.
The number is being
literally
claimed.
Swims.
That number of the carbon dioxide is being claimed to be equivalent to the amount an average British car emits in 2 months.
I'm trying to get annoyed.
When internal Sony emails were published by WikiLeaks in 2015, it turned out that DiCaprio had taken 6 round trips on private jets over the course of just 6 weeks.
Did you say 2015?
The leak was in 2015. That happened in 2014.
This was before the era of the climate criminal. I actually don't know if we were Leonardo DiCaprio might have been.
He should have been.
We certainly, but don't let perfect be the enemy of good, right? Like, he is trying to change structures around the world. The man is going to make mistakes. I care about the environment. Today I forgot my keep cup and I used a paper cup, right? Felt like shit about it.
Terrible. Killing the turtles.
Exactly. Terrible, terrible thing to do. But I just don't think... What's the man to do? Because he can't live perfectly and swim between countries like Greta, he just should give up all his advocacy and not go on a boat?
In 2016, he reportedly flew 8,000 miles via private jet from Europe to New York to accept an award for his environmental activism.
I don't know if I'm defending him just because he's hot.
This
is really hard because I'm really sexually attracted to him and I think he's a really talented actor. And now I'm thinking that maybe I'm defending his climate criminalism because I think he's hot.
He then returned to Europe for a charity event. Jesse, you can't get a private jet when you're receiving an award for environmental activism.
But maybe it's better he's on a private jet because if he was on a commercial flight, they don't let you do pranks. They don't. You're not allowed to do pranks at security.
In 2014, he was called out by Brazil's president after Leonardo criticised the country's proposed deforestation plans. And the president said, "You again, Leo? I could tell you again to give up your yacht before lecturing the world, but I know progressives. You want to change the entire world, but never yourselves. So I will let you off the hook."
I'm sorry, but that man was literally burning the Amazon.
No, he was literally burning the Amazon. We're all hypocrites about everything.
Yes.
And if we can't challenge the man tearing apart the Amazon, unless we're literally Greta Thunberg, then we're f***ed. DiCaprio has been actively involved in fighting the climate crisis, and he's donated 75 million euros to global conservation projects to protect endangered species and land. Random stories and rumours. We have a very good friend who's a photographer.
Yep.
He was a photographer at the time when Leo was in Australia filming Great Gatsby.
I was single. We spent
most of our
weeks
time
trying to find him.
Yes.
And it was always like I got there 2 hours after he'd left.
Yeah.
Where's Leo tonight? Oh, he's at back room. Oh my God, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'd get ready. I'd get there. He's disappeared. Someone would say, I saw him. I was allowed in his little private area. I met a lot of people that met Leonardo DiCaprio at the time.
Yes. And so I messaged our friend today. His name's Luke. I don't think he listens. And I messaged him and I said, hey, give me the goss.
Yeah.
I want unsubstantiated rumours about Leo
Leonardo DiCaprio
for our podcast.
Circa 2012.
And he said, when he was here, he partied here, then took a private jet with a selection of hotties to America, to Vegas.
So he could have 2 New Year's Eves,
to do a
wasn't
double
it?
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, because he had New Year's Eve. What's first? In Australia. It's Australia.
Australia.
He had New Year's Eve here, then he got on his jet to go and do it in Vegas.
Yeah, with hot people he found in Australia. I mean, I guess there's a climate criminal element to that. There's also a kidnapping charge. There are a few things. George Clooney played a pickup basketball game with Leo. He'd spoken about it. So he played with Leo and a few of Leo's friends. The discrepancy between their game and how they talked about their game.
Oh my God, this is everyone I know who's ever played basketball.
Made me think of how important it is to have someone in your life to tell you what's what. I'm not sure if Leo has someone like that.
Was he joking though?
No, he was completely serious. He's like, no, I played basketball and he talked a lot of game and he wasn't that good.
I think that's hilarious.
I think there are a lot of white men who are like, I ball.
Yeah, I'm
and then you play them and you're like, you're going to hurt yourself. Slow down.
And then they hurt themselves and they blame like tennis elbow on a bad shot. And you're like, mate, you just shit a basketball.
Brad Pitt said, yeah, I had a restraining order against DiCaprio for a while over an incident in 1994 that we don't like to talk about. People aren't clear whether this is a joke. I believe it's true. And in my theory, it has something to do with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, in my theory, it's a prank.
Oh,
he did something really weird. You know that prankster that we've talked about, Billy? There's a prankster.
Oh my God, Leo would get along so well with him.
I think Leo's been pranked by him.
Okay.
And I don't think he minded it because he was like, I appreciate a good prank when I see it, Billy. Billy, we talked about in another episode, I think because he's literally pranked. Will Smith. That's right. And Will Smith punched him back. He's pranked Brad Pitt, he's pranked the Kardashians, and he's really annoying and everyone fucking hates him.
And he's like a journalist, but clearly not a journalist.
I think they were in cahoots. I think Billy and DiCaprio did something silly. They crossed the line and Brad went, no, it's a restraining order.
That's inappropriate, mate. Finally, in prepping for The Revenant, this is still miscellaneous section, keep that in mind. Leo slept in an animal carcass, he ate raw bison, and he went for regular swims in frozen rivers. And that's a little too close to method for my liking.
Oh, and that's a crime.
He doesn't go full method, but he went a little bit method.
He
and according to the cancelled rule book, we don't like method.
Makes us uncomfortable.
Yes. Jessie, it's time for charges and sentences.
My charge, and it's one I wasn't expecting going into this. All right, I thought that it would be something to do with 25-year-olds, but this is something we have learned today about Leonardo DiCaprio. It is a crime in the cancelled rulebook that has never been dished out.
Oh, okay.
So this is precedent setting. His crime is being a prankster.
Okay, yeah.
Who we hate. Pranksters are disproportionately men. Women know that pranking is a waste of time.
It's disproportionately annoying.
Yes, yeah.
Really annoying.
Women would never.
Women go, I'm busy. I'm busy and I'm already terrified that I'm an inconvenience to people. And Leo's like,
intentionally annoy them.
No, Leo's like, that's hilarious.
That's hilarious. My sentence in that case is that I do think that Billy needs to come back.
For one prank and one prank.
For one prank and one prank only. But this is the ultimate prank. And I think he should come back for a prank that obviously oversteps the mark.
I don't think you've got to brief that. I think Billy's like, yeah, that's part of my repertoire.
No, but I think that it should really make people panic. So I think it's one of two things. Either he infiltrates a private jet. Okay. Because having an unknown person's on a private jet is actually
security
terrifying.
risk.
It's a real security risk.
Yeah.
Especially when he's like trying to climb into your trousers and stuff.
Yeah.
Or he infiltrates the yacht.
Oh no, he's going to poke holes in it.
Yeah, yes.
It's really expensive,
and then it's
Billy.
like sinking and it's like,
it's kind of
where's
Titanic
the
vibes?
line
Yeah.
between prank and sinking big yacht?
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't be good for the environment. I thought it with the Titanic. I went, That's not good.
Climate nightmare, that oil. And you know what the oil does? It attracts sharks. You know what happens when the sharks come? They eat people. There is a story of a ship sinking. The oil attracted the sharks. All the survivors got eaten. Also happened with a plane crash.
Yes, it's like Blake Lively and she got stuck on the rock and there was that shark just circling.
Oh, because the oil's like, yes, God.
So I think Billy probably sinks the boat. And so then what we've got is maybe he will have to swim from country to country like Greta.
Okay. Yes, that's his punishment.
Yeah. What's your charge?
Okay. My charge is quite specific. It is stealing women's childhoods.
Do we call a woman under 25 a child?
Yes. Biologically.
Not anywhere in the world. Not
intellectually. Mentally.
No.
Yeah.
They are adults.
Yeah.
They can vote.
He's stealing their childhood.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
That's not right.
That's what he's doing.
Okay.
I just think he's really taking these years where they could be having a lot of fun.
They are having so much fun.
I don't know if they are, Jessie, because I've
seen him with like Blake Lively on a bike.
No, but whenever you see pap shots and they're on a boat, he's just not having a great time unless he's with the boys. That brings me to my sentence. I mean, firstly, no more pranks, but that's separate.
Yeah.
My sentence is, I think he just needs to hang out with Toby. I think he's found his person. Do you know what I mean?
Is Toby married?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I think
he's just one of the boys.
Him and Toby have been soulmates since the moment they met. And I just think that they get each other in a way that Leo's never going to find a lady that gets him like Toby does. Because Toby says, Leo, stink bombs are hilarious. We can let them off in the club. And Leo says, ha ha ha, we're part of the Pussy Posse. No, Leo.
And they're all fun and they're not predatory if there aren't women involved.
Exactly. And I think this is the thing. He wants to hang out with his boys.
Yeah.
But it's part of a phenomenon called homosociality, which is that straight men bond via their objectification of women. And I think maybe they just need to bond together without the women.
Yeah.
Because
I completely agree.
That's because
I don't agree with your charge. I agree with the sentence.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Cancelled. Please let us know your charges and sentences for Leonardo. Did we go too easy on him? Maybe a little bit.
Maybe we were biased because we love him.
You can find all of our receipts for Leonardo DiCaprio at The Twins Thoughts on Instagram.
The executive producer of Cancelled is Talissa Bazaz with audio editing by Leah Porges. And we'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye. If you have loved listening today, become part of the community that makes you feel seen, heard, and understood like never before. Subscribe to Mamamia.